Hi, welcome to Don's Manufactory. Well, I am on the rebound. You know, I was pretty deflated when the paint didn't turn out. I think I've identified most of the issues, and I sort of have a plan of attack on how I'm going to rectify those things. And first on the list was not enough air through the, or not enough volume of air through the shop. What I am creating here, just bending some hoops. But basically I just needed a jig so I can replicate these. I have 8 of them to make. If you notice, I have a 3/16 radius bent into the corner there, so I get a really nice radius on the rod. So I've got washers for welding onto the end to put screws through. So what I'm trying to do here is reduce the restriction that the filter causes. I did my measurements and I measured the speed of the air through the door with the filter on and with the filter off. And the fans pull 2,864 cubic feet per minute without the filter in, and only 1,372 cubic feet with it in, basically cutting the flow in the shop in half. I looked up the requirements for airflow through a professional paint booth. They list it in feet per minute. So what that means is how fast is the air moving over the car. So rather than having a volume limit, it's really speed of air over the car so that overspray doesn't land on the car. And that speed is 100 feet per minute. At 1,372 cubic feet per minute, my speed over the car was 10.8 feet per minute. Not near enough. So in other words, at 10 feet, the car is what, 16 feet long? Well, 15 without all the stuff on it. It takes a minute and a half for the air at the front of the car to make it to the back of the car. Way too much time for overspray to settle out of the air. Basically what you do is you take your ceiling height and width of the shop. So in other words, if you take a slice out of your shop, what's the square area? On my shop here, it's 126 square feet. It has to have enough volume or cubic feet per minute so that 126 will go into it 100 times. So if you think about all the zeros there, oh, okay, that means 12,600 cubic feet per minute is what I need. Well, I'm not going to make that. I don't have holes big enough in my shop to do that. What I plan to do is I'm going to pleat this here door. We'll measure the effect of that. Over here I have my air conditioner, but there's enough room here for another 20-inch discharge fan. I already have it on order. It draws 3,368 cubic feet per minute. You add that 33 to my 28, 62,232. So if I divide that by my 126 square feet, that's 49.4 feet per minute over the car. It's traveling almost 50 feet per minute. The air is clearing from the front of the car to the back of the car in 18 seconds, which is a lot less than a minute and a half, which is where it was when I painted it last time. That's the target. That means the air needs to be able to move through that door at 5 miles an hour. I'm not sure if it can do that, but something I thought about doing, if I have trouble with that, I can unbolt the wheels from the top of the door and the pull handle, and then just drop that front door piece down and then staple filter material in there. And that's 13 square feet, that one section, coming right in over the top of the car. So it would be just taking the overspray and just whooshing it right off the car. What I'd like to be able to do is put a coat of paint on the car without having to stop and clean the overspray off. That just created too many problems. FYI, a standard box fan has very little static pressure, so it's not going to pull air through a filter very well at all. unless you do what I did to mine, which was fill in around the blade so it has a circle around the blade. It doesn't pull any more volume, but it has more static pressure, and that's what pulls the air through the filter. Anyway, box fans have only about 2,000. Well, they can run, depending on the design of the blade, it can run as low as like 1,400 cubic feet per minute and go as high as 2,500. But at 2,500, that's a pretty substantial looking blade. Those little Lascos you buy with the little sort of triangle looking barely blades in there that run like crazy and don't push much air, those don't work so well. Doing something like that would allow you to use box fans in your paint booth if you're making one in your garage or whatever. The one I bought that I'm going to put in the front here is much like my attic fan. It already has the round part that's closely tolerant to the edge of the blade, so air can't circulate around, so that hence the 3,368 cubic feet per minute. After I'm done with it, it's going over to my brother's house, and he will use it in his garage while he's painting his car. Let me show you my little jig here. I don't even know if this is going to work, but we're going to find out here in just 2 shakes. Just like that. And this one, same thing. And then unclamp it. And there it is. It should be straight to itself. Yep. And so now I just need to bend 7 more just like this. And the goal is to finish up pleating this filter and get the new filter in the door today. When I'm putting it together, I'll show you the final result. Here we go! Here is my improved door filter. Now before, the filter material was just flat to the screen door, which is 13 square feet. With it pleated like this, you can see the hoops that I was making push the material out, and then there's rods right here running across that pull the material back, so it makes a Z down the door. This increases the square area of filter material to 42.5 square feet. The material goes out and back, but I had to fill in the ends. In my drawing program, you can create a sine wave. I trimmed the top of it off, and I moved them slightly apart so that I could have enough seam in here to staple. So it's not a perfect sine wave, but what it did was it allowed me to cut a run of this material, and then I can use both sides of it because the sine wave is identical top and bottom. I didn't have any tear, as it were, wasting material. In order to make this seam here, I just stapled it, and I can just go along, pinch together, and check it. This is the last filter that'll go on the door, because I'm assuming that this next time I paint the car, it'll be perfect. That wraps up the video for this week. You'll notice behind me, yes, I have begun scuffing Betsy down. I'm taking all the clear off down to about 100 microns thickness using my little meter. And you can see, I don't know if you can see that in the video or not, but it's actually just goes through to the base color in a few spots here and there as I'm getting as much of the clear off as I can. 3 coats of clear is a lot. It was about 125 microns or so. So that's like 5/1000ths of an inch thick of just clear. Yeah, I know you guys were all set to see, painting videos with Betsy again and everything, but frankly, I had to just step away from this car for a while. I ended up just going and doing some other things. Went with a friend of mine to go see the Brothers collection, and that was really cool. I fixed a couple of lawnmowers for friends and neighbors, and you know, just doing some good deeds and whatnot, spending a little time with the family, which of course I was neglecting during that whole painting blitz week. Anyway, at this point, I had three major issues to resolve: the airflow through the door or through the shop. That was one of the main ones. I think I've addressed that in this video. And over here is the most difficult thing I have to address. And that is, here's my test panel. And what I'm doing is I got to practice. I'll paint this panel as many times as I have to. Paint the panel, check the metallic out in the sunshine, do the best job I can do, and then see how it actually looks in the sun so that I can actually execute. I went out to PPG. They're doing a color match for me. Supposedly I'll get back to the original formula that was lost, and that's why the color changed on me. I don't know how soon I'll be painting the car because I'm going to take my time and get it right. Thanks for watching Don's Manufactory. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you later.